Bubba Beats here. I want to talk about a subject that comes to mind, and that is why Ghost lost. Now, when it comes down to it, whether we like it or not, we've always been pushing for a Ghost return, but we never got it. I don't see why he never showed up in Power Book 2 Ghost. There's been opportunities where he was supposed to show up. Personally, for me, when he was setting up plans with the lawyer, and Tariq was even questioning, well, how can he plan all this when he's passed away or before he passed away? And even though we know Ghost is a strategic character, he's not that strategic where he can plan things on a whim after being gone. There's that scene where pretty much the phone was ringing after when Tariq had that dream with all the people who he affected that died, and Ghost never showed up but come in the form of a phone call, the letter that Tariq got when he had went to jail. And the most perfect scene for Ghost to show up to Tariq was when he hallucinated in the final season and saw himself back at Club Truth, and he still didn't return. But I'm gonna tell you why Ghost lost the game of Power. It was because of his love for Kanan. Now, his love for Kanan in the long run ended up coming back to bite him, because even though Tasha said they should kill Kanan, Ghost was like, nah, that's my brother and I love him. We're gonna send him to prison, but I'm gonna look out for him. Now, see, the thing is with Ghost is Ghost had too much respect for Kanan. And even though he had love for Kanan, and in the end it did help him with some wins in the future, as we see in book 1, Kanan always was plotting to take Ghost down. Now, we don't know what led into Ghost and Tasha making that decision, because they left Tommy and everybody else out. But them making that decision at the time where Tasha was like, you need to take him out, it pretty much is something where Ghost was like, nah, that's my brother, and so they went with what Ghost wanted. Now, eventually, Kanan did find out that it was Ghost who set him up, and even though Ghost raised his son and pretty much took care of him the entire time while he was in prison, at the end of the day, Kanan still wanted revenge. Now, Kanan ended up becoming a problem because he literally sets up everything that happens in book 1, leading into a lot of book 1 conflicts, and he's the reason Dre was even around in the first place, only for Dre to just say he's going to side with Ghost against Kanan and pretty much do his own thing. And that's why there's been a back and forth between Kanan and Dre the entire time in book 1 as well, where Dre was always looking out for his own skin in the end. Now, when it comes down to it, eventually they do truce it up, and then Kanan gets close to Tariq, and this was really Kanan's final move. Tariq really was a move of desperation, because he really didn't know if he could have turned Tariq against Ghost or not, but when he saw that he could, he fed into it. Tariq was a kid that was privileged, didn't know too much about the streets, and when Kanan introduced him to the streets, Tariq became, he ended up loving it. He ended up loving it so much, but the main thing that made Tariq love the streets was the legend of his father. Tariq always thought that his dad was a businessman and thought that his dad was a person who made his money off his clubs and everything of that nature. But in the end, it was Kanan who exposed that his father was the biggest drug dealer in New York, and that his dad was a gangster motherfucker. He was ruthless, and he got to the top. And this is what Tariq wanted for himself. Tariq loved his dad so much, though, that he was willing to betray Kanan for his father, even though he thought that Kanan was the only person that loved him. At the end of the day, when it comes down to it, though, Tariq ended up facing a lot of his demons in book 2 Ghost, but still he doesn't really know every single thing because his character is still developing. And even though he's in a very powerful position and he looks to do things very differently from his father that will put him in a superior position, there's still things he really doesn't know. So when it comes down to it, Kanan's last move was Tariq, and in the end, his last move paid off. In the end, Kanan's move with Tariq ended up making Tariq turn on him, though. So it was like, even though he set up Ghost's fall, Tariq ended up taking down Kanan first. And so eventually over time, this led into Tariq going after Ghost. And basically the simple thing how Ghost could have done to avoid this whole situation with Tariq was to teach Tariq the game, or try to embrace the gangster that Tariq was becoming, or pretty much, see, Ghost always wanted to show Tariq James St. Patrick. He never wanted Tariq to see Ghost. There was only several times Ghost showed up and showed Tariq who he really was, and where even though Tariq was afraid, Tariq admired it because he has that side of Ghost that he taps into himself. So when it comes down to it, Ghost's loss is really his mercy for Kanan. That mercy about not taking Kanan out is the reason why things went the way they did in book 1. But I'm pretty sure there would have been another conflict that would have taken place to make book 1 different had Kanan not have been the conflict. But truth be told, it was really Kanan who was the reason why things ended up going the way they did in book 1, and of course Ghost's love for Angie. So basically it's pretty much me talking about Ghost's loss, but I just want to say to all of you that it is your boy Bobby Beast here to say much love, much respect, hold it down, and hold